What's good? It's your boy Jay. That's me. Let's discuss TNA Impact from February the 15th, 2024. An okay show. It could have been better. Most TNA Impact episodes just feel like filler because nothing really happens. The No Surrender build has been kind of poor and lackluster. There's not too much of anything that I'm excited about. I'm just not. And this show, just like last week, just felt filler. And that's just what we got. Before we get into the review, though, so the TNA talent that have been very disgruntled with Anthem, they sent a letter out to Anthem to voice their frustrations about Scott D'Amore being let go. And so if I can find that letter, I will link it in the description below, and you guys can check it out. I actually was able to look at a little bit at the letter. I mean, again, I understand why people are upset and mad, but it doesn't really fucking matter. Scott D'Amore will be fine. He'll either be in WWE or AEW very soon, so he'll be fine. And again, if they're that upset, then they can go to those promotions. You know, there's other promotions that they can go to and work for. You know, you got MLW, you have CMLL, New Japan, WWE, AEW, the Indies, NWA. There are places for these guys and girls to work. So we kicked the show off with the first match of the night. That was Jake Something versus Frankie Kazarian. Frankie Kazarian defeats Jake Something via a roll-up, and he got his foot on the ropes. Jake Something deserves better because he can be something. He's just there. I feel like he would have been better off signing to WWE or AEW. I feel like Jay Something really does have something. He's that damn good. And I'm a fan of his work, but him doing the job to Frankie Kazarian, I'm not a fan of that. I'm just not. Again, I don't understand why TNA still continues to push guys like Frankie Kazarian and Eddie Edwards, Moose, and the Motor City Machine Guns and guys like that. PCO as well. It's time to get rid of those guys. Josh Alexander as well. Get rid of those guys and bring in a whole new crop of talent. I'm serious. Moving on. So, Eric Young, he lays out the challenge to meet Frankie Kazarian face-to-face next week in the ring. Who gives a shit? Fuck this shit. Moving on. So, Jordan Grace, she defeated Savannah Evans via the Muscle Buster. Post-match, Giselle Shaw, she attacked Savannah Evans and Jordan Grace from behind with the X. And then Giselle Shaw stands tall with the TNA Knockouts World title. Okay. Who really gives a shit? Garbage. That should totally be on Impact. That should just totally be on TNA Impact. Like, come on. Are you serious? Again, TNA needs some help. They need some real serious help. Moving on. So Gia Miller, she is trying to interview Ash by Elegance, but she's pushed aside by Ash by Elegance's own personal interviewer. He introduces Ash, who announces that she'll be making her highly anticipated in-ring debut next week. That's cool. That's fine. I hope that they have some real big plans for Ash by Elegance. I don't know why they call her that. It would have been better for her to be known as Ash Elegance. That's just me. but who knows? I think she'll be fine. Believe it or not, Ash by Elegance fits perfectly within TNA. If she had more indie cred and all that stuff, and she had more tenure in WWE, which she did as Dana Brooke, then she would have been in AEW. But I think Ash will be fine in TNA. I think they'll use her right. If they build her up right and everything else, I think she could be a really good challenger for Jordynne Grace. Maybe have her dethrone Jordynne Grace. Maybe at Bound for Glory in October. So that's basically 8 months away. But that's just something to think about, because Jordynne Grace, she deserves to be in either WWE or AEW. She's too good for TNA. She just is. She's been there, done that. Like, what more can you do with Jordynne Grace going forward? What more can you do? There's not much. She's done it all. She's been, I think, 3-time Knockouts champion and 2-time Knockouts Tag Team champion. So what can you do with her? What can you do? Moving on. So, we now get the second episode of Alan Angel's Soundcheck show, I guess. So, Simon Gotch, he reveals why he brutally attacked Josh Alexander last week. Simon Gotch says that he was the one who pushed Alexander to his limit on the night when he signed his TNA wrestling contract several years ago, which was basically 5 years ago. But he's never been given the recognition he deserves. And then Josh Alexander, he burst into the set, and then they have a little brawl, and then security and officials separate the two of them. And I really don't give a fuck about this. I don't. Simon Gotch, to me, is nothing special. I wish they would reunite the Vaudevillains. I think that would be great. Matthew Raywall can still go, for sure. And I don't know why they just don't reunite them and have them as a tag team. I think that would be tremendous. Because Simon Gotch by himself, he's not going to go anywhere. Like, his ceiling would be basically just either the digital media champion or maybe even X Division champion. But outside of those two singles championships, I don't see him doing anything else but, maybe trying to reunite the Vaudevillains with Matthew Raywall. Next, the best of 3 series, match 2, involving ABC, which is Ace Austin and Chris Bey, versus the Grizzled Young Vets, which is Zach Gibson and James Drake, for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. And Ace Austin gets the win. He rolls up James Drake for the 1-2-3. So now they're tied 1-1, which is great. I'm loving the series so far. So by default, we know that the third match is going to take place at No Surrender. Who goes over there? I want to say the Grizzled Young Vets, since Ace Austin is injured. So I really dig this. It's really good stuff. Moving on. So Dirty Dango, he puts out a casting call for tag teams to step up and face him in Oleg Prudius, a.k.a. Vladimir Kozlov, which was great. He was doing a bunch of comedic shit. I love Dirty Dango. Dirty Dango's tremendous. Dirty Dango should be either X Division champion or digital media champion. He needs something, man. He really does. The guy's a fucking gem. He's a fucking gem. Moving on. So Mustafa Ali, he vows to renew and revitalize the X Division by defronting Chris Sabin at No Surrender. He says, it is during times of great change that leadership is needed most. I love it, man. Mustafa Ali needs to be the new X Division champion. Mustafa Ali kicked major ass. I'm glad he's with TNA. I'm glad he didn't go to AEW. I think he'll float around from TNA to New Japan, back and forth. And it's great, it's great. And Mustafa Ali would be an excellent, and I do mean excellent, an excellent X Division champion. The guy is solid. Solid. So the good hands who are still there for whatever reason, I have no idea. They were talking shit about Chris Sabin, and then that causes him to strike an innocent bystander for whatever reason. I don't know. I really don't understand why they're still pushing the good hands. I don't get it. Like, those guys shouldn't even be in TNA. That's just me. But, I mean, it's a waste of time. It's just a waste of time. Next, Crazy Steve versus Rhino for the Digital Media Championship. Crazy Steve gets the win. I think he wins via the DDT. I don't know. I don't care. I wasn't really paying attention. Next, Joe Hendry versus Diener. So, while Joe Hendry was making his entrance, he's interrupted by AJ Francis, a.k.a. Top Dollar, who unveils a new music video that pokes fun at Joe Hendry. And then Joe Hendry fires back with a music video of his own, saying that AJ Francis is banned from diving. And then Diener attacks Joe Hendry from behind. And then Rich Swann and AJ Francis, they have a little brawl. So the match is basically like a no contest. So I would assume that next week it's probably going to be a tag match. Joe Hendry and Rich Swann versus AJ Francis and Diener. I would imagine. I'm willing to bet money on that shit. Moving on. So, we see footage courtesy of World Wrestling Council in Puerto Rico. So Nick Nemeth was jumped by Steve Maclin and taken out. And then Trent Seven, he basically doesn't take too kindly to the blindside assault that happened. And then he challenges Steve Maclin to a match next week. Okay, cool, I guess. Really good stuff there. I'm loving the Nick Nemeth, Steve Maclin feud. I think it's great. Moving on from that, my girl, Killer Kelly. Ooh wee. Damn. Versus Danny Luna. So, Danny Luna gets the win via a roll-up. So, post-match, MK Ultra, they attack Danny Luna and Jody Threat from behind. And then out comes Decay, Rosemary, and Havoc. And then MK Ultra, they retreat up the ramp. So I don't understand why MK Ultra, why they're a heel in this situation. I don't understand why. It doesn't make sense. I thought they were massively over as a babyface team. I love Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich. I do. Decay is okay, but they've been around for forever. And I'm just not really that much of a fan of Rosemary because she's been in TNA for years. She's been in TNA, I want to say, since maybe 2014, 2015, something like that. She's been in TNA for basically right at 10 years. I think she went to TNA, I want to say, back in either it was 2014 or 2015. I have to look into it, but Rosemary's been there for years. I'm talking about for years. And I really don't understand why they turned MK Ultra heel. It just doesn't make sense. Like, that's mind-boggling to me. That boggles my mind for whatever reason. I don't understand it, but I guess. And I'm also wondering, while we're on the subject, what the hell happened to Subculture? What happened to Mark Andrews? So what happened to those guys? Like, what happened to Mark Andrews? I can't remember his other tag team partner. I can't remember. Are they injured? Are they having visa issues? Like, I remember when they were. I think the last event they wrestled was Bound for Glory, I believe. So we haven't seen them for about a few months. So I'm gonna look into that too. Subculture might be injured, maybe. I don't know, but we're missing Subculture in that tag team division. But that tag team division desperately needs tag teams. They have the ABC, Grizzled Young Vets, and that's really essentially it. Oh my bad, and the Rascals. Outside of that, everything else every other team is like makeshift, and no one cares about the good hands because they're jobbers. So fuck that. But I don't know. I'm gonna look into that. Main event: Moose versus Brian Myers. Everybody's banned from ringside. Moose gets the win via the spear. Post-match, the rest of the system, Eddie Edwards, Alicia Edwards, and Brian Myers, they assault Kushida until Alex Shelley and Kevin Knight make the save, and they even the odds. And then the babyfaces, they clear the ring of the heels, and then TNA goes out the air. Again, just a waste of time. I don't know what type of direction TNA is going in. Hard to Kill had so much momentum, and now it seems like they've lost it, and they are directionless, which is not good. I'm just ready for them to finish up No Surrender and to try to get through Rebellion, and then after that, they need to shut down for 3 or 4 months and regroup and bring in a whole bunch of new talent. I get that so many of the talent are frustrated with Anthem letting Scott D'Amore go, but again, part of the reason why TNA was not that good was because of the talent that they had. All Scott D'Amore was doing was just pushing his friends. I hate to say that, but that's all he was doing. He was pushing his friends. And people got tired of it. Again, Josh Alexander, Mike Bailey, and a lot of those other guys are not stars. They're just not stars, and you can't build a company around those guys. Those guys are not main eventers. They're not. They're not. And that's just the honest truth. You could love it or hate it, like it or leave it, but it doesn't matter. It's the honest truth. And that is the issue that I have with TNA. That's the issue. But TNA was okay. I'm digging the Best of 3 series from ABC and the Grizzled Young Vets. But what did you guys think? Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.